Hi, I'm Kaylee, and today I'm going to tell you about my 5 favorite classic heroes. Today I am wearing my fox shirt. And of course, as many of you know, I am all about the classics, and I fall in love with many fictional classic gentlemen. I have had many book boyfriends among the classic genre, but these 5 gentlemen are the ones that have graduated from book boyfriend status up to fictional soulmate status. In case you didn't know, Books for MKs is a charity that donates books to missionary kids. If you'd like to donate to the kids, you can do so at GoFundMe.com. There will be a link down in the description and a button that you can click at the end of this video. So I was gonna try to put these in some kind of order, and I just can't. I just love all these fictional guys so much. So we're just gonna have them in random order. The first one is Sir Percy Blakeney from the Scarlet Pimpernel series by Baroness Emuska Orczy. I am sure I am saying that wrong. Emuska. Sir Percy is a spy during the French Revolution. He's British, and he comes over to France and saves people from the French Revolution, saves them from being beheaded and imprisoned, and he helps refugees get safely over to England. The Scarlet Pimpernel series is full of, the spying and the intrigue and everything, but there's always this plot twist at the end that completely surprises me. The things I love about Sir Percy are his intelligence. He is incredibly intelligent. He just runs circles around those French revolutionaries who are trying to guillotine everybody. Another thing I love about him is his compassion. I mean, he risks his life so that he can save these innocent people from the revolution, and, well, maybe not innocent, some of them. He sees a country in turmoil, and he says, I'm gonna jump right in there, and I'm gonna help. He's incredibly compassionate and generous, and he's also very daring. I mean, he has got some sass on him sometimes because he just has this almost reckless bravery where he just jumps into this fiery building or something and saves somebody. Unless you've read the books, I really can't even explain to you the insane daring that this man possesses. It's like he knows no fear. He just jumps right in. So I've always been attracted to bravery in characters and intelligence. Maybe because those are things that I feel like don't possess myself, and so I'm attracted to them in other people. My next hero is Edward from Sir Walter Scott's Waverly. Edward is fresh out of college, back in the Jacobin Rebellion era. He goes on holiday up to Scotland, and of course there's a lot of political turmoil and unrest, but he feels like he's just sort of separate from those things. He's innocent and young, and he doesn't really quite understand, I think, what's going on. And he starts hanging out with some Scottish dudes and gets kind of pulled into the politics of things. And of course, he meets a beautiful young Scottish maiden and falls in love. What I love about Edward is he is so honorable. Like, his honor is the most important thing to him. There's a lot of talk in the book about honor and loyalty and, chivalry and valor. And Edward truly believes in those things. He truly believes in loyalty and valor and chivalry, and his life reflects that. And when he does fall in love, it's such an unselfish love. He really doesn't think about himself. He just thinks about the other person and how he can serve them and protect them. He's just so sweet. Like, he's just innocent and sweet and adorable, and I just love him so much. My next hero is Walter from The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. Walter is an artist, kind of a starving artist, and he gets hired as an art teacher to these 2 young ladies, and quite naturally he falls in love with one of those young ladies. But there's a lot of mystery surrounding the family. There's a lot of outside pressure on the family. Of course, money comes into play, and of course these 2 young hearts are torn apart, and it's all about him trying to restore what he has lost. What I love about Walter is that he's very protective of the people he loves. He's protective of his mother, his sisters, his family, and he's protective of the woman that he falls in love with. I think that the people in his world sort of dismiss him. He's this sensitive artist. He's kind of a quiet guy. You know, you don't even need to worry about him. He's just over there in the corner, not playing a part in the plot. But that is not true. You know, the other characters think that about him. And then suddenly he sort of bursts on the scene in his own quiet way, but with this magnificence that changes everything. And he turns out to be just as daring and brave and magnificently wonderful as any hero that you could wish. My next hero is George Knightley from Jane Austen's Emma. What I love about George, Mr. Knightley, is that he has such common sense. And if you've read it, you know that Emma is a little flighty and she's very creative and just kind of goes with things. And Mr. Knightley is the one who pulls her back and says, now wait a minute, let's think this through. You can't just manipulate people. He really has a handle on reality, when Emma does not. She's kind of stuck in her daydreams of how it could be, and oh, these two people, they could be in love, you know, and Mr. Knightley sees things the way they really are. So he's definitely a character that is needed in that book, and I feel like that's very attractive to me because sometimes I feel like I'm so immersed in my own little fantasy world and in my own head, I don't see things the way they really are. If Mr. Knightley was a real person, I would need him around to be like, whoa, 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 Kaylee, you're off in fantasy land there, honey. You need to come back to the truth. This is what's really real. Another thing I love about Mr. Knightley is that he is unfailingly honest. He just tells it like it is, you know, even if it hurts people's feelings. He'll say it in a kind way, but he will be honest with you about what he thinks. So you never have to worry that he is, you know, being manipulative or that he's saying something behind your back. He is a very straightforward kind of person, and I really appreciate that about him. One of the best things about Mr. Knightley, though, is that he is so family oriented. Like, he is always going up to London to visit his brother and sister-in-law and his little nieces and nephews. He cares about their family. He's always coming over to visit the Woodhouse family. You know, he even though he's a bachelor living by himself in this massive estate, he cares about families. He takes care of the families of the people who work on his farms. You know, he realizes the value of family and people, and maybe it's because he's a bachelor, because he's alone, that he wants to protect these other families. And if you've read the book, you know at the very end, no spoilers, but at the very end, Mr. Knightley makes a decision that ensures the comfort of the Woodhouse family. He puts his own needs and maybe wants aside and says, no, 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 this is how we're going to orient this family. This is how we're going to do things in this family so that the Woodhouses will be happy and have what they need and be comfortable. So he puts himself aside for the family to have what it needs. I know I said I wasn't going to rank these or try to put them in any kind of order, but I kind of saved the best for last. And that is John Thornton from Elizabeth Gaskell's North and South. John Thornton is my soulmate. He really is. He's better than Mr. Darcy, and that is saying something, people. If you've read the book, then you know that Margaret moves up to a northern industrial town, and John Thornton owns this cotton factory. And at first, Margaret and John do not get along. They have very different experiences in life, and so they just don't quite understand one another. There's a lot of unrest going on in their city, so it's very much a commentary on the Industrial Revolution. John Thornton's workers actually get involved in a strike, and John Thornton's business might go bust. But through it all, you start to realize what kind of a man John Thornton is. He is incredibly generous. It doesn't seem that way at first because he is a tough businessman. But he really cares about his workers. He's a very generous person, both in giving of his time, his energy, and his money. In many different areas, he's really generous. He's also very sensible. I just love people with common sense. They're very sensible, and they say, this is what it's like. You know, for him to be a tough businessman, he has to have really good common sense and business sense. I think that makes him very steady. And there's so much turmoil going on in the city and in Margaret's life, and she needs a man who is a steady influence on all of that craziness and chaos that is going on in their world. He's also a self-made man. He is very hardworking. You know, you see in the books where he just works day and night to help his family, to help his city, to help Margaret's family. I just really appreciate his work ethic. And again, that's a part of him being generous. He's giving to the work so that he can give to his family. One of the best things about John Thornton that I feel like really strikes a chord within me is that he loves to learn. The first time we meet him, he has hired Margaret's father, who is a scholar, to teach him, you know, to teach him Plato and the classics and all those kind of things. You know, he's teaching him Latin and all kind of stuff. He's interested in bettering himself, getting a better education. He's interested in becoming more educated, more intelligent. You know, well, he's already intelligent. He just wants to know more. He wants to gather more information. And that's the way I've always been. I always want to learn more and know more and figure things out. And I think that that is what attracts me the most to John Thornton. Okay, I'm done fangirling about all my favorite heroes. Please leave me a comment and let me know, who are your favorite classic heroes? And tell me why. Why are they your favorites? Why are they, you know, your book bae or whatever, your book boyfriend? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.